This is John. I'm back. I'm going to talk about Mage the Ascension. I've recently been talking to a buddy of mine named Chris about getting a game going because I've never been able to get a game of any of the World of Darkness stuff. I've owned a handful of the books, but can't get a game going. I made a private investigator that is Prime 2, Time 1, Spirit 1, Forces 1, and something else 1. In my mind, he's just the atypical. I can see everything. He uses all the different single spheres to generate view of the world because, with life, you can detect life. With Prime, you can detect magical effects or things that give off magic. Mind lets you detect people's, detect sentient minds, stuff like that. But I'm thinking the game's going to be pretty decent. I wrote a small backstory for the character. I had a family member die. The other family drug him off to the woods, kind of in a crazy fit, and was killed in a car accident on the way to this said cabin. So the boy had to survive on his own, and he did. And social services eventually picked him up and foster homed him, and then he got out and he decided to be a cop because that's originally what his father was. His father was a beat cop and got killed. I've given him, and he flunked out essentially, like too much law for him. He had too many rules that were getting in the way of catching criminals. Catching the bad guys.
Take my glasses off.
It seems like a really interesting game. You roll d10s instead of like 3.5 system d20 stuff. You don't roll one dice d20 to do everything. You essentially have a difficulty value, and then you add attributes and corresponding stats to roll a handful of dice. So if you're fighting with your fist, it's brawl and strength. So if you have a 2 strength and a 2 brawl, you get to roll 4 dice. Your average difficulty is 6, so you got to try and get as many 6s as you can, and that generates successes. The more successes you get, the better you do. It's also a very loose system. Magic is very broadly defined. They give small paragraphs about each individual level of each individual sphere. And you combine spheres to make better effects. Like Life and Prime. You could probably suck the raw magic out of something that's alive, which is a big deal. Because there are things like werewolves and vampires, and if you have any knowledge of the World of Darkness, there are vampires, werewolves, superhumans. They're called hunters. They're like I'm not sure the background. I want to say they're like chosen by God or whatever, and they inherit qualities that help them fight all these supernatural creatures. But the game looks like it's going to be fun. He's going to run me a solo and go through my awakening, which is, it's set up like your second soul awakens, and it sees the world as it was before static reality became what it is. So like, everybody thinks that technology works because everyone thinks it. That's why technology works. A group of mages that use technology as focuses for their magic, they call them foci, decided that if they instituted technology big enough, that they could hedge out all the other traditions and monopolize magic. Because if all the humans believe it's real, then it is real. All the unawakened. The awakened can still pull on the Tellurian, the tapestry of creation, to do magical effects. But if you're gonna, and I'm not talking about flashy stuff. You can't, you can throw a fireball, but reality is stagnant, or is static. So when you pull and and prod in ways, a normal person can't throw a fireball, but if you do it in front of a bunch of people, reality kicks you in the ass. It's called paradox. Because reality says human beings cannot hold their fingers up and shoot fire because of the technocracy, which is the mages that use technology primarily to influence the world with the magic, because technology is magic for them. But the game seems kind of fun. I'm hoping soon I'm gonna get to play. He's re-familiarizing himself with the books because he hasn't played in a while. He's currently playing a Star Wars game, D6 Star Wars game, which he talks about a lot. Sounds pretty cool. But that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.